Welcome to this LeetCode daily coding, where we are going to go through mean cost climbing stairs. So basically what we are doing here is that we receive as input an array of integer which represent the cost of each stair, and we are supposed to climb all the steps. And now for you to climb a step, you need to pay the cost of that step. And there's one thing interesting, which is when I pay the cost of a given step, I can choose to climb only that step, or I can choose to climb both that step and the step directly next to him. So given that input, how are we going to organize ourselves to spend the less of money we can to move from the first to the last one? So that is the problem. Moving from the first to the last one, giving those conditions and minimizing your spending. So how are we going to organize ourselves to have it? Before having it, before even thinking of the approach, what would be some example? If I have this as input, what will be the output? So the first thing is that you can pay for the first 10, and then after paying for the first 10, you pay for this one, and after you pay for this one, this is the worst case, and it's something you will eventually never do, because this will actually give you a 25 plus 20, which is 45. Now another option is that you can pay for the first 10 and then you skip this one and then you pay for this. This will give you 30, which is less than the 45, which is a good solution. But we can do better. What we can do is that you can directly pay for the 15, and this will help you to skip this one. You pay for the 15 because you have the option to start directly at position 0 or position 1. So you can directly start here, you pay for the 15. And since you pay for the 15, you can skip the 15 and the step directly next to him. So you will find yourself at the end. Nice. So now, given that, how are we going to approach it? How are we going to organize ourselves to solve it? Before diving into solving it, if you're new here, here's Argo Architect. Here we are doing occurring solution and LeetCode daily. So if you are interested in any of those topics, don't hesitate to subscribe to do not miss what we are doing here. So for me to solve it, my approach will be as follows. I know that for each of the elements, I can either take it, that means pay for the step at this position, or I don't take it, that means I don't pay. For each of the steps, I have the option. Either I pay, either I don't pay, and at the end I have the final, which is actually the minimum of me taking or me not taking to pay for this step. So eventually at the first position, if I don't pay, I will have 0. If I pay, it will cost me 10, and then the final solution is actually the minimum of don't taking and taking, which is 0. Perfect. Now when I'm moving to the next step, at step 15, now this one, I can choose to pay for this one. That means pay for the step. Paying for the step will actually costing me 15 plus the previous solution. That means if previously my total cost was maybe 100, and if I choose to pay for this step again, then it will cost me the previous solution plus the cost of this. But if I choose not to pay for this step, that means I'm choosing to make use of the previous payment to jump this, right? That means I want to use the fact that if I pay for a step, I can jump the next one without paying. So the cost of this without paying for this is actually the cost of paying here, that means 10. And then now the solution at this step is actually the minimum of taking or paying and not paying, which is actually 10 and 15, which is 10. The same here, when I'm at step of the cost of 20, I have the option of don't pay. If I don't pay, that means I'm actually using the last pay. That means the solution of paying at this position, which is actually 15. And if I want to pay, that means I'm taking the cost of paying, which is 20, plus the previous solution, which is 10. So this one will give me 30. And then the solution here is actually the minimum of 15 and 30, which is eventually 15. Now for this one, now I have also two options: I pay or I don't pay. If I don't pay, that means I'm using the payment of the previous one, which is actually 30. Or if I want to pay, that means I'm using the previous solution plus the cost of this, which is actually 15 plus 1, which is 16. Now for this one 6, I have the option: will I pay or I will not pay. If I want to pay, if I don't pay, that means I'm using the cost of the previous payment, which is 16. And if I pay, that means I'm using the previous solution plus the cost of the payment, which is this is 16. So, and at the end, this one reflect, if the array was ending here, this would be the solution. If the array is ending here, this is the solution. So at the end, this is actually representing the solution of each step. Now that we are fully aware of what we want to code, how are we going to code such a solution? So basically, we are just going to do exactly what we just described. It will look like this. The solution will look like this. I will initialize my vector of 3 elements. You can see that I have three rows. That means if I don't take, if I take, and the final, that means the solution of the step. And then I will initialize the vector of 3 elements, and the number of column of my vector is actually the size of the cost. Now that I have my vector, my empty vector, I need to initialize the first one, which is, I have a don't take of 0 because it's my initial 0 cost. I have, if I pay, I will have a take of 10, and the final is actually the minimum of 0 and 10, which is eventually 0. That is what I'm doing here. The first one is 0, the second one is the cost, and the third one is 0. Now that I have it, I'll just make the loop like I was saying. For each step, if I don't take, that means I'm going to say the cost of this is actually the cost of the previous take. Now if I take, the cost is actually the cost of the final cost of the previous one plus the cost of the payment, which is the final cost of the previous one plus the cost of the payment, and then the cost of the step is actually the minimum of those two, and then I just return this. So basically, this is my approach of solving this. Let us submit. You will see we'll pass all the test cases. This was my approach of solving this. I hope you do enjoy it. Feel free to leave me any input, any comment. I'll be really happy to interact with you regarding this. See you on the next video. Ciao.